It's early morning, and as you can see behind me, the sun's just starting to rise. I'm gonna be planting some carrots, beets, and seeds today. Got to get the garden ready for the planting. This was the main garden bed that we had the potatoes here, and then the peas here, and rutabagas over here. So everything's been all cleared out, and I want to put new crop in, the fall crop of carrots, beets, and peas. Although in my last video I said, I'm ready for the beds to be put to bed as summer wears on. Still need to get some crops in for the fall. Can't tell right now. It rained overnight, so it's all not quite as apparent, but the ground is kind of wavy here from where I was digging out the potatoes and things like that. So I'm going to use a rake, smooth everything out, and then cover it all with a layer of compost. This is my aged chicken compost. I give them vegetables every week. I get them from the supermarket that they discard. Over the course of a month or so, they eat them and break them down into compost. It's mixed in with their manure. I then take it out every month, and at the end I store it in barrels and let it age. So this compost I'll be putting down is going to be about 6 months to a year of aging. I'm gonna lay it, put just a thin layer, only about an inch or so, over the top of the soil here that I can then plant into with my seeds. All right, I've smoothed out the bed, leveled it out, and now I have a 5-gallon bucket of the compost, and I'm just gonna spread it over this area for the most part. Like I said, I'm only putting like an inch or so of compost down. That's to build up the soil, feed it a little bit from the nutrients that the potatoes and beans and rutabaga extracted from the soil. As I said, in between these two blue arches here is where I'm going to be spreading out this 5-gallon bucket of compost. Actually, the compost, there was enough in the 5 gallons to do 2 sections. So now I'm just going to, as I said, put a thin layer over the top. I'll spread it out. Sorry, I'm not filming the whole process, but my tripod broke, and I just have to show this in stages. Okay, I did the one section here just to show you the difference between the two. Now, admittedly, it doesn't look all that much different, and one, that's because the soil is damp, so it's going to look the same. But two, this bed is basically compost. It's been filled over the years with compost. So that's what these are filled with. And then every year I put a layer of compost on top of them. And at the end of the year, when this crop here is finished growing, another layer of compost is going to be put on top, and it's just going to sit there for the winter time with a mulch of chopped leaves. So the soil is already very rich, and it's light, fluffy, nice loam to plant in, but I continuously feed the soil. So I'm gonna finish that out, that little pile right there, and then we'll end up planting. So the plot here and here has been completed. Now I'm gonna do something different in this bed when I plant the peas and carrots and beets. Early on, when I got the community garden plot, I had mentioned about doing a victory garden, and that being my victory garden plot. And I asked, if that would be a good idea. A number of people responded saying that they would love to see a victory garden style garden planted down there. That's what that plot is going to be next year. So I've got some good plans for that. But in preparation for that, what I'm going to do is actually start doing that here. Now, I always plant the square foot garden method. So if I'm planting carrots, I do 16 carrots in a square foot. What I'm going to do this time is I'm actually going to plant in drills, just like traditional gardening does. And so I'm going to have a thing of carrots here, a thing of beets here, carrots, and then beets, and then over here will be peas. I really haven't planted like this in decades. So this is actually almost new for me. It's like relearning how to ride a bike. Now I'm going to take my Danvers 126 carrots and I'm going to plant them in that furrow. Carrots don't like to be planted deep at all, so we're just going to lightly brush over the seeds. And now I'll water them in. And I'll end up covering them with a board to keep them covered until they sprout. This is just some old pallet board I had laying around. So I'm going to cover them up as such. I decided I'll just do carrots right alongside this one and then 2 rows of beets. The pack says plant the rows 15 inches apart, but I'll plant them about a foot apart. So I'm actually going to take this board and put that on the ground. And that'll make my drill. And we'll sprinkle some more carrot seeds. And again, we'll just lightly cover them. And then water them in. And we'll cover these up with a board as well. And now I'm basically going to do the same thing for the beets, though I'm not going to cover them with a board, although you very well could. Okay, with the 2 drills done, we'll put the seeds in. And this is a pack I picked up earlier in the year but never planted. It's Detroit Dark Red Morse's strain. I'm not sure what the difference is. It doesn't really give an indication as to what the difference might be. Just how Detroit Dark Reds are high in various vitamins. I'm not going to plant these as heavily as I did the carrots because you get several plants out of each seed. And now we'll just cover them up. And there we are. We got our carrots and beets planted. We will do our peas tomorrow. They've got them soaking in water when they soften up. So we'll come back in about a week and see how things are progressing with the seeds and whether they've sprouted. So I've been soaking the peas for a couple of hours in some water to soften them up and give them a little head start on germination. I'm planting sugar daddy peas and hopefully we'll get a good crop. As you may recall from my spring crop of peas, they ended up getting overshadowed by the potatoes that they were growing alongside. I had thought that peas would have sprouted quicker than they did and grown up over the potatoes, but that didn't happen. They ended up getting crowded out shaded out, and they never really produce. We got a few peas. We got a couple of, we got about a pint of peas out of the garden, but I'm hoping to get a lot more peas this time. So I've set up a small trellis for the peas to hold on to, and I'm going to be planting 2 rows of peas. They're a couple of inches apart all the way across on both sides. So the peas just need a little bit of support, and then their tendrils will cling, and then they'll cling to each other, and they should be able to grow up. There's no obstructions to them getting plenty of sun, so I'm looking forward to a better harvest. Of course, it's going to be growing into the fall. The harvest actually might not be as great as a spring one would be, but hopefully overall the results will be better than what we saw. I had used some old seed previously, and I ended up putting like 2 or 3 peas in each hole, and we didn't actually get good germination. So this is new seed. I did buy it in the springtime, but I think there'll be no problem with them germinating now. So I've got double sets of peas on both sides of this trellis, which is pretty surprising that so many peas come in a pack. You know, you get some vegetables like corn, you get like 25 seeds in a pack, and I had to buy I think 4 packs of corn seeds this year to, you know, grow the corn that I wanted. I did set up another double row on this trellis, which backs up on the peppers there. So we've got peas here, and then peas all the way down here. That should be enough peas, and we might having double plants of peas. So we should have a lot of peas growing here, and I just didn't think I was gonna have that many seeds. So now I'm just gonna lightly cover them over and then water them in. All right, they've all been watered in, and what we have left now is the growing. So we got our full garden in the ground. Of course, we still have the stuff at the community garden that we've planted over there, so that'll be incorporated. But as to what we're going to be planting for fall crops right now, carrots, beets, and peas is it. So if you want to see what we were doing in the garden last week, check out this video right here, and then subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you'll be able to follow along in the progress on all of our vegetables as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard. Okay, thanks for watching.